Welcome back to our series on peace. I hope you're already having more peace. In order to have peace, you must go within and find it there and help it stay. There is no other way. There are substitutes promised, like if you go to a resort, you're supposed to have a nice change of life and have a lot of peace. Or if you take a certain chemical, it's supposed to give you peace. Or some gadgets are supposed to give you peace. Go to a retreat or build a cabin by the lake. It's all supposed to give you peace. But to have peace, you must go within, find it there, and help it to stay. I'd like to refer during my talk today to the wonderful work of Pema Chodron, who speaks from a Tibetan Buddhist viewpoint about peace, and it's very beautiful. And I'm going to use one of her main concepts today, and I'm very happy that we get to share this helpful way to increase our peace and to understand our lack of peace. Troubles usually kill our peace. And if we're troubled, we usually don't notice opportunities for peace. We're worried or we're afraid. Worries and fears intensify our ego and our sense of separateness from God, from our own soul, from our best self, and from other people. Fearful emotions and chaotic thoughts cause our confusion, and it's hard to maintain any kind of peace in that condition. It's hard to access our buddhi, our witness consciousness, just witnessing the world, then close your eyes, witness the thoughts and feelings. It's hard to witness if peace is not there. Keeps throwing us off. It's hard to make a good decision. We get stuck in fight or flight cycles. No peace. Psychologically, we live in great stress without peace or clarity. Without peace, our health declines. Our mood, our general mood, often turns negative and stays mainly negative. In worry and fear, we often make mistakes, and our situation gets worse, and we worry more and have less peace. So yoga devotees pray. We strive to connect with the source of peace and goodness and love and light and truth, beauty, and goodness, all those intrinsic values. We strive to connect with prayer, meditation, connect with our soul and with God and with spirit and with truth. We seek to restore peace as we meditate. Hopefully, every time we meditate, our peace is restored. We're reestablished in peace. We love to read inspiring scriptures which help us go in the right direction. We try to look after our body, postures, breathing practices, exercise. Strive to do positive things so that the peace may be found and abide. We practice yoga, we seek solutions, meaning, growth, betterment. We develop character, courage, patience, wisdom. We open to Spirit and Spirit's guidance. So we tend to live a more surrendered life, open to God and higher possibilities. We strive to live with God's guidance and the incarnations who have come to earth throughout the ages, their advice, their words, the words of the Bhagavad Gita, the words of the Bible. The Bhagavad Gita is about Krishna standing in your chariot with you as you fight the battle of your life. He gives you advice about how to fight. Similarly, when you meditate, you can have the presence of God guiding you about how to fight the fight of life, the battle of your life. It's a beautiful image. So in troubled times, we seek peace. We don't let the troubles take away our peace. We say, I want peace. I'm troubled. How may I also have peace, and in that peace, guidance and love and light and connection with the universe, rather than disconnection within myself too, disconnection from my own soul as my ego worries and does its projects. I would be happy to say the more peace, the better. But peace comes and it just fills you, and that is sufficient. There are some yogis who are accused of having too much peace. And it could be that in peace we're not noticing relevantly what is going on and what we should do. So it can happen that we are making a bad mistake blaming peace for the fact that we're being negligent or not tuned in with what's going on and what we can do to help. That's possible. Anyway, it's a false argument. May we be filled with peace. There's a huge factor which is crucial to our experience of peace, and in this, Buddhists and yogis concur. We notice a major disturber of peace. Yogis call it our craving or attachment. I want, I need, I've got to have. As long as you're in that mode, you're not in peace. Buddhism calls it Shenpa, Shenpa. And I'm quoting from Pema Chodron's book, Practicing Peace, when I share this beautiful insight about the term Shenpa. Yogis call it craving or attachment. Shenpa will do. Shenpa is defined as the driving force behind our desires. So we have desires, but the driving force behind them is this Shenpa, Shenpa. The Bhagavad Gita focuses on Shenpa without using the word. It's that first, before we develop a full-blown desire, we have this human creature force or charge or pressure within us. I want, I want, I want, I need, I must have. This underlying pressure. I need, I want, I've got to have. In order to be successful, in order to be happy, in order to be whole, I must have. And we fill in the blanks. Dangerously, we often cruise through life, travel the world with an active, continuous seeking, I want, I want, I want, rather than enjoying it, rather than being happy. I want, I want, I want. We see an attractive person or an attractive invention or thing. We're interested. We start thinking about that person or thing. While the Shenpa condition, I want, is steadily flowing through us, I want, I need, due to this Shenpa, this force, I want, this interest in that particular person or that particular thing, it gets fanned into a desire. I want this. Well, I want you. I want that object. I want that job. I want that house, that car, that salary, that fame. I want that situation. Inner pressure. Pema calls this going from this general I want, I need, this general feeling, this general force, She says we then bite the hook by making it a desire. Yes, I want you, or I want that particular experience or event. Pema calls this biting the hook, like a fish. It's now it was a vague wanting, now it's a full-fledged, I want you, or I want that situation, or that office. We do all kinds of crazy things once we bite the hook. It's now an active desire with all this natural force behind it. This powerful force moves through our mind, heart, and ego. I want, I need you, or that particular thing. I'm not complete or happy without you, or XYZ, for example. That car, I've got to have that car. We cruise the world instead of happy and fascinated and full of love and light. We cruise the world wanting. When we see something or someone whom we guess will fulfill us, we bite the hook. It's now our desire. If I could have you, I'd be complete. I'd be happy the rest of my days. We seek to be attached to that person or thing. You can just watch the world of romance and Hollywood to find how people bite the hook and want so much and have so many troubles. This is how Maya, the delusion of life, the hallucination that we don't know spirit, that spirit doesn't exist. Instead, this material world is the only reality. This is how Maya works and keeps going on and on. We have this pressure, I want, I've got to have. The delusion of never being complete or happy, always incomplete, never at peace, always wanting, eagerly biting at one hook after another, is the human condition without peace. So the full meaning, she says, Pema says, the full meaning, I think, of Shenpa is getting hooked. I have this strong desire. She quotes a Buddhist master, Kongtrul Rinpoche. He defines Shenpa as the charge or force behind our thoughts, words, and actions. The charge behind I like and I don't like. I want to avoid that, but I really want that. The charge behind our thoughts, words, and actions that just make us live desiring, wanting, craving, incomplete. The charge behind the tightening, behind the urge, behind the storyline, behind the action is Shenpa. Pema says, you can actually feel Shenpa happening. It's a sensation, an urge you can easily recognize. And no peace. When you've got Shenpa, that's what you have instead. Never comfortable, never fulfilled, always wanting. Pema says, now if you catch Shenpa early enough, you can deal with it well. Look what's happening within me. I'm beginning to want and be incomplete. You can acknowledge that it's happening and abide, be calm within the experience. I can recall a yogi telling me, I have a desire for a more private house. And I couldn't figure out exactly what he meant. He meant maybe I could give him a house, or we should start collecting money for a house. Anyway, I have a desire for a more secluded house. By the way, he got one. Anyway, now if you catch Shenpa early enough, you can deal with it well. You can acknowledge that it's happening and abide. Be calm with the experience. I've been triggered. You're having an urge. The urge, I want to move. or I want to have. I want to change. This early rising that you're aware of because you're calm enough to sense it, it's like yearning to scratch an itch. And generally, we find it irresistible to scratch. But we can practice with that fidgety feeling, and hold our seat and sit calmly. In these moments, we don't have to bite. We can contact the underlying insecurity of the human experience, the insecurity that is inherent in a changing, shifting world. As long as we have the habit of needing something to hold on to, we will always feel no peace. This background, this rumble of unease and restlessness, rumbles through our life. For most people, when Shenpa arises, they go on automatic pilot without a pause. They follow the urge, make poor choices, and get swept away. Most often, we don't catch Shenpa at an early stage. We don't notice the urge until we've already begun to fulfill it. The best way, she says, to deal with Shenpa is daily meditation, spoken like a yogi. Meditation develops our ability to stay fully present and notice Shenpa, and develop strong, ongoing peace and loving kindness. Meditation, she says, teaches us how to open and relax with whatever arises without picking and choosing. Meditation teaches to experience the urge and uneasiness fully. Yes, I have a desire for a house that's more remote. Yes, this is coming up. Well, then when you finish meditation, you could look into, should I try to fulfill this desire? Or you could weigh it in prayer. Should I move to a more secluded area? There are all kinds of things you can do. You can notice, though, this is a desire. This is a kind of an ache and a yearning, which is becoming a desire. Do something about it since you've noticed it. When you finish meditation, pray about it. See if it's important. See if it could be beneficial. Or if it's just going to be a waste of years of your life and your resources. Meditation teaches to experience the urge and uneasiness fully and to interrupt the momentum that usually follows. We go from the desire to the action without thinking about it. And we do this by we deal with Shenpa, we deal with this pressure, this discontent, this craving. We deal with this by finding and abiding in peace. Finding and abiding in peace. Perhaps you use one of the techniques we talked about in the last talk. For example, the now technique. Let go the past. It's dead. It's gone. Let go the future. It's a projection. It's a guess. It's a plan, but it hasn't happened yet. Abiding in the now. What to do now? Should I fulfill this? Should I enjoy the rest of my meditation and live in confidence that God is going to provide whatever I need? Or should I also discriminate? This thing I want, is it going to last? Is it going to be fulfilling? Is it going to be worthwhile? Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be a major distraction, and 10 years from now I'll be back where I am. And I'll think, I've wasted 10 years of my life. So you could practice the now technique, or you could just chant Om and let Om bring you peace. Just keep chanting Om out loud and then whisper and then mentally until you're at peace, free of Shenpa. Then decide. So we train in sitting and dealing with these inner pressures that keep us from peace, and we fight the good fight for peace. We train in sitting still with the itch and with the pressure of Shenpa. It would be fun to jump out of that chair and do something. We sit and practice peace. As you develop, you can begin by recognizing when Shenpa is rising in other people. They're distracted, their attention is elsewhere, they're not hearing you, they're absent. Shenpa is happening. They're craving something else. That's why they're not paying attention to you. As a result of meditation and recognizing Shenpa, you receive the great spiritual ability of nipping aggression or craving in the bud. And that's why yogis seek peace and abide in peace before dealing with wants, cravings, before letting desire rule the day, before dealing with your opportunities, desires, the I wants, whatever they may be, or I want to avoid, whatever that may be, temptations, anger options. We could just be angry today. We have justification. We can always have justifications for anger. Regarding any change in life, moving, a job change, a partner change, peace is the key. Find peace. It's a great gift of God. God gives us peace. And work to stop the cycles of Shenpa. Here are some beautiful practical hints. Working to stop the cycles of desire, I want, I need, I must have, in order to be happy and fulfilled. The cycles of craving and aversion. So, number one, reestablish peace. Then apply the 4 R's. These are her 4 R's. First R, recognize Shenpa is occurring. Oh, that's my old friend Shenpa. Trying to get me ignorant and deluded again. Whatever. First R, recognize Shenpa is occurring. 2, refrain from scratching that itch. C3, relax with the underlying urge to scratch. Just relax. 4, resolve to interrupt any Shenpa moments like this for the rest of your life. Shenpa is no longer ruling my life and wrecking my peace. So how do yogis buy a house, choose a mate, or not choose? Or choose a career, or make critical choices throughout life? We find peace, we are alert, we recognize and stop Shenpa as soon as it occurs to us. And then in this peace, we live in peace. It may graduate to bliss, by the way, and Ananda ever new joy, but peace is this foundation. Be alert. Recognize Shenpa as soon as you recognize it. As soon as it's happening, just recognize it. Stop it. Live in peace. Go on through the day in peace. It's possible. It's ready to happen. It's part of our being a living human being, that we can have peace, and that we were meant to live in peace. And we were meant to live in bliss and joy. But we've got to do something about the way our mind wants to focus on so many other things and our heart hankers for so many other fulfillments. Do the central work. Find your peace. Enjoy your peace. And give your peace a chance. God bless you.